This is the picture story of the biggest of all giant steps. That casual leap into empty space when nothing defies the law of gravity but that big silk umbrella ballooning overhead, letting you down to earth with not such an easy bump. This is a story of the men who hit the silk. It started as a barnstorming trick, a crowd-pleasing gimmick for county fairs, a huge, ugly shape of a balloon filled with hot air. And in whipcord breeches and a couple of slender girls checked their release catches. And then the cry was heard, "Balloon going up!" High above the fairground, they pulled their ripcords and hit the silk. In World War I, the carnival trick became a lifesaver as enemy planes spat fire at observers in barrage balloons. Hydrogen gas makes a bright flare against the afternoon sky, and the man in the basket hits the silk and returns to Earth safely. Somebody said, if a parachute lets a man down easy, it ought to do the same for a plane. Here's an early experiment in the plane-sized parachute. Enough silk for 100 pretty dresses in that parachute, but as the ship floats drunkenly down to Earth, it seems that there's one flaw. Nobody can teach a plane how to bend its knees for the landing. Between the wars, the parachute was a prop for Daredevils. Here's the star of the flying circus. Cutting away one chute. And then another. And floating down to Mother Earth on the third. There's nothing like terra firma, and the firmer the better. Somewhere between the wars, the Army invented the paratrooper. Here are historic pictures of the first mass drop. An old tri-motored transport takes to the air with 7 men for an historical parachute drop. For the first time, above the drone of motor noises is heard the cry, "Geronimo!" and half a dozen white chutes blossom in the air like flowers. The Batman made his share of thrills. Winged like the birds, he soared and glided like a gull and delayed pulling the ripcord until the last heart-stopping moment. And the brave men were not satisfied. They tried new variations. Here's the reverse switch on the feet-first landing, the feet-first takeoff, a new kind of aerial hitchhike. At Navy airfields, top officers studied this big umbrella. They thought there must be ways for a man to use this fascinating piece of equipment. This was more than a toy. Slow motion pictures and close studies proved this could be the lifesaver of the air, a blooming white umbrella that could take the danger out of flying. A vapor trail shows how a free-falling body plummets to Earth like a stone. But then the silk umbrella opens, and a man's body floats down like a feather, like a thistle, neat as a whistle. The parachute stars in a thrilling Arctic rescue. Down below, a man lies stricken, trapped on a frozen tundra. Parapups are flown above the site and are dropped down on toy umbrellas. Here come the original parapooches, floating down to Earth to man the rescue sled. for good measure, is the sled. And here's the driver. In a few quick moments, the Huskies and the sled are hitched up, and an injured man is carried across the ice fields to safety, thanks to that silken, silent partner, the parachute. Jet planes move too fast for parachute jumps. A powder charge blows the seat and pilot out of the plane and then releases the friendly umbrella. Here is the vital beginning of chutes must be folded with absolute care. There's only one chance to pull that ripcord, and if it doesn't work, you don't get your money back. Now, the guys and girls who pack the chutes prove they have faith in their craftsmanship. Yes, sir, these factory workers are ready to stand behind and underneath their products. They take to the air to make personal tests of the equipment issued to the flying fighters. They know it's good because they use it themselves. Here comes the big step into the wild blue yonder, the breathtaking plunge earthward, which pits skill against gravity. Say, these things really work. Out of experiment and failure and faith came the mighty paratroops, toughest fighters known to man. They hook on their shroud lines, and at the cry of the jump master, they jump out of the doorway into nothing. The sky blossoms like a field of daisies as hundreds of men ride the air to a happy landing. Equipment follows. Jeeps and tanks, guns and trucks float down to earth with half a dozen parachutes letting them down easily. Now the umbrellas fill the sky. Platoon, company, brigade, regiment. An exciting new tactic of war is born. A way to land an army from the sky to drop at strategic points behind the enemy lines. Silently, they float to earth. Once on the ground, they spring up like dragon's teeth, fully armed, ready to march, ready to fight, carrying the banners of the first-class fighting men who are proud to hit the silk.